Personality is a bunch of subjective stories that have created memories in your mind, and you're like, okay, that's who I am because of that trauma that happened to me. That's who my identity is, and now that I'm going to stick to that identity for the rest of my life. And that identity doesn't allow you to evolve, doesn't allow you to get in. And a lot of our work has been around how do we shift organizations, and how do we shift leaders, and how do we shift ourselves away from who we were to become who we need to become in this new world. And to be expansive really is the only option we have in preparation for what's coming. We have no other option. You're either expanding or you're shrinking. And if you're shrinking, you're following old ideas, old behaviors, old ways of thinking. And you're only doing yourself a disfavor, because we're living in the most exciting time, and really is going to be the people that are going to be celebrated the most are the ones that are going to be enthusiastic about the change. Because nobody actually knows what the hell's going on. Nobody does. But the people that are being enthusiastic into it and being optimistic in it are the ones that are going to win, because they're there, they're excited, they want to explore, they're willing to let go of identities. And the joke that I make is, I'm Middle Eastern, and the Middle Eastern culture, very similar to maybe the Indian culture or even some of the Jewish culture, is you're allowed to be 4 things when you grow up. You can be a doctor, an accountant, a lawyer, or a failure. You choose. And you realize that these constructs that we've created around us belonging to some job that we've created. I am an accountant. I am a doctor. Gives us this thing. And now all of a sudden I tell you, doctors are done, bro. Like, it's over. Now you have to take that DR out of the front of your name, and you're like, who am I? What am I doing here? Like, you go to the Middle East, you'll never find a wife because you're not a doctor anymore. And so these ideas that have been entrenched into our society have really kept us stuck in many ways, and we have to release them. We have to move away from logic and move into emotions, move away from outcome-based thinking and start becoming more curious about the things that we're actually exploring. And this is exactly why we stopped measuring the outcomes of the podcast. It's irrelevant, the outcomes. And we did a pod actually called Goals Are Dead, Systems Are Alive. Stop making goals. Create systems. Forget about the goal. The goal will look after itself. In fact, the goal could be bigger than you ever could have imagined. But the system itself that you put yourself into, that's the only thing that I'm focusing on right now. In fact, I had a money coach for many years, and I always was wondered, like, how do people make a lot of money? And I said to my money coach, like, tell me like what a rich person does. And she says, every single person that I work with that's very wealthy does money differently. Some people check their account all the time, some people don't, and it's like total, there isn't one way to do it. But what I've realized, the most fun way to do it is not to measure the outcome.